let's see here. Where should we start today? We're going to start over here with Mr. Glenn, and that's spelled with 2 N's. Mr. G here just recently purchased this amp. You'll see it'll look very familiar to you all. And they beat it up pretty good in shipping. And beat it up real good in shipping, actually. And we got some broken stuff on it now. So we'll hustle that thing back here, and we're going to get it hustled right back out of here. We just did this amplifier like 2 weeks ago. This was a deal where the guy sent it up here and I got around to getting her done. And oh, there's the minister in the corner first thing this morning. The gentleman said, "Fix it, get rid of it." I said, "Okay." Kind of interested to see. He said it knocked some stuff loose on the inside and it's having a hard time working. So let's see what happened on the inside here. I told him I'll send it back. You got a warranty on everything but the pills. Well, it's not jumping out at me. Let's see what happens when we hook it up. He was talking about how this had like a loose dingleberry of solder in it or something, and what I'm seeing in here is it's acting like this one transistor's got a problem with it. We shall take it apart and find out. So this one's getting hot and heating. This one's barely doing anything. These two transistors are running evenly, and I've got an imbalance heating in my output combiner. But this one's acting like it's dead. I get good voltage, but then my 10 ohmer isn't getting hot. It's alright. I've seen some funky things go on with these DEIs. I had one come through here the other day. That was owned by my friend Mr. Alex, Mr. Spaceman, and this was in a Fat Boy, and it was just had nothing to do with the manufacturer, nothing like that. It would make a ton of power and then it'd quit, make a ton of power and then it'd quit, and pulled the transistor out and checked it, good to go. And we started taking a screwdriver and we were pressing down on the transistors because we were running out of ideas, and I'd press down on one of them and all of a sudden the whole thing would work. Take the pressure off, quit. Work, quit. So we ended up just changing the transistor and going on with everybody's day and their lives, but I don't put nothing past it anymore. I know this thing was working like a top when it left here, so I don't know. We'll put a shit a guy out of the hole and we'll see what we can get going on with it. That's for sure. All right, we'll be back. And the magical survey machine says I just took this up and then turned my microphone back on and the leg broke off. So okay, well, that answers that question. No need to go any further there. Son of a gun. All right. Let's see. I have to chalk this one up to manufacturer defect because that should not have come off that easy. But good job on Mr. Glenn's part for catching this right away and not jamming into it and keeping a cool head and calling me right away and exercising his warranty and not freaking out. We'll see if this fixes our little problem or not. I just wonder how that tab got broken. Doesn't make any sense to me. I have seen weirder things though. Alright, let me put this back together. Well, let's see what happens here. Let's see. I turn amp on. Hello. 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 Well, that fixed that problem for sure. What's going on with the power switch? Okay. That explains a lot too. So, if memory serves me, this is one that went to another shop, a predominant shop, and it was all full of solder flick and stuff. And I went through and I massaged this thing, checked the guy's transistors, cleaned this thing up, did the power. He sent the transistors that were originally with this thing with it, and then, yep. That explained the situation he had going on, and it didn't present itself here. So oh man, I just had you fixed. Guess not. I'll keep fiddly farting with it till I make it 100%. Okay. All right. Nope. Nope. Yep. Maybe. Negative. I know this guy. This shit's gonna have to be stupid perfect. No, I want it to be perfect anyhow. It's just me talking there too. There we go. Okay. New meter face. This shit's getting old. God, this thing took a beating. Where's it? The bulb. Probably the bulb. This thing took a beating, and I mean a beating, getting here. Or getting down to him. Okay. Not the bulb. Yeah. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Just had another transistor quit. I'll tell you that right now just by what happened. Hello. Yeah, which one is it? Hello. Hello. It's smoking. Oh, the fun. The fun. So this is like deja vu. Now, thank God that we know for a fact, according to Merit, that the RFP 2879 173Q crosses for the HG 2879 16-D8 or 08. Thank God. Otherwise we would have been screwed because I don't have any of these RFP transistors. This looks remarkably like the last one. Popped clean off. And it's burnt on the inside. So I'm assuming when the front end of this thing took the whack that it took to create the switch problems, the broken meter face, all that stuff, all that energy got translated back into the board, I'm hoping. Translated back into the board, and somehow it rattled the transistors good enough that that's what we're chasing here. I don't know, these are pretty tight. Okay, so come over here and I made sure all that the torque screws are tight, holding the board in place. I'm almost afraid to touch it. Let's go over here and look at the watt meter. I'm thinking back to my phone calls that I've had with Mr. Glenn. He says to me, well, you've had 500s in there that did 600 plus watts when you hit them with 20 watts of power. And I'm like, yeah, I probably checked yours on 13.8 or 14 volts instead of the higher end of 14. So here's 14.5, Glenn. Hello. All right, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, audio 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. Now we've got full meter movement. Hello. Everything is working exactly as it should. So we had two defunct transistors, and it had nothing to do with any solder flick or anything else that was in this box. I did find a little solder ball floating around in here, but that didn't have anything to do with our problem. And Lord only knows. I mean, I've gone over this thing now 3 times with a fine-tooth comb. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to run this for a few minutes, and if it stays running for a few minutes, like 15-20 minutes, we'll call this one a win, and I'm going to move on to the other project for my day. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, audio 1 2. Under the old Model T was a place that's sick. Showed it to me, big and black, and she called it her crack. But it looked like a manhole to me. So I pulled out my old power pole and put it in her black manhole. As she began to scream, I poured on that cream and it colored the old Model T. Ding, ding, ding. Hello. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Hello, audio 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, audio 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, come in. Hello, audio. Hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, enough. Enough! Okay, Mr. G. It's fixed. 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 Next! And so it begins. Alright, the note reads, Dear Mr. BBI, thanks for taking my order. I don't know what you mean by that because I didn't take an order. It means a lot to me. I think what he's talking about is taking this little project on here. A lot to me. I purchased the 667 from eBay. Don't ever do that, by the way, you guys. For $450 because it's like playing Russian roulette with your money. And, you know, if you got 6 chambers, you're going to get 5 blanks before you get one good. I can guarantee you that. Okay, it worked fine for a couple months. Then the relay started to stick, so I replaced it. Anyhow, due to the being half... Let's skip over this, skip over that. He took out a trace. I took it back apart, but it's not up to my standards, so I'll leave it to you to judge. The box works good for another 3 months and blew 2 transistors. I replaced them, but now resistors get hot very fast and it has good output. I run Cobra 148 1 watt doing about 15 PEP. Okay, no problem. Do what you got to do. Make this box one of the most king 6667s ever from your shop. Any questions? Arrow, next page. I got 740 into this box. So what's a few more dollars? So do that magic trick thing you do. P.S. Bought new Mako Y58. Was running an old A99, so I don't think SWR is an issue. And I had run 2 megawatt 50 amp power supplies, which is enough. This amp never be in the mobile, so power wire doesn't need to be that long if you change it. This gentleman called me the other day and we got to talking. My biggest fear is getting old. I know it's going to happen. I'm still fairly young, but according to my kid, I'm old. Okay. I understand that there are a lot of people out there that have the skill sets to do this job. The downside is a lot of them have lost their eyesight. Arthritis has taken their hands, or a lot of different myriad of reasons. This gentleman right here, the only reason I took this thing on is, well, he's in his 90s and he's still trying to work on electronics. And Father Time has taken that set from him, that skill set. It's all there, except for the hands and the eyes, but it's all still in the brain. That's my biggest fear, is getting old. And me not being able to have the ability to use my hands or to be able to see what I'm working on. I spent most of my life working on repairing and fixing things and learning how to do everything myself because I cannot stand having to rely on somebody else to get something done. I cannot stand it. So when he told me what his health conditions were, I was like, okay. I said, I haven't taken on anything new in months and months and months and months and months and months. Like, it's like 18 months, almost 2 years. Just put it in a flat rate box to me. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to put you to the front of the list. Because, brother, we both know if I was to put you in the normal queue, I don't honestly think that you would be still with us when I got to where I could work on it. So let's see what we've got, boys and girls. I'm sure it's not that bad. Oh, he sent along some parts too. Very smoke combiner, and we've got the caps off of the input and output transformers, I think, but we'll see. We're gonna find out together. Oh, this isn't that bad at all. Okay. Man, I pray to Christ I can see this good when I'm your age, sir. That's all I'm going to say. I was not expecting it to be this well put together. This guy's been paying attention to Vajeos here. All right. Need a little bit hotter soldering iron, partner. I can tell you that. But this is adequate enough to get the job done. You got an imbalance. So let's hook it up, run it real quick, and see where it's at. I just returned a bunch of phone calls. That was an interesting phone call to end up on. Okay. Got power to it. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. All right, we can talk through it. Hello. 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 Transistors are getting a little warm. Hello. Audio. Hello. Audio. Output resistor's nice and cool. Our bias chokes are cool. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. Okay. Well, for 12.8 volts, it's really getting with it. .25. Okay. Ooh. Yep. Okay. Okay. Coax connector is loose. I took a lot of heat when I built those power connectors like that. They're like, oh my God, you should put teeth on them and all this other stuff. I'm like, no, I want to be able to just tug on a wire and it pop out. Okay, so yeah, this resistor down here that controls my bias circuit's been changed. And it is the wrong value. That would explain our problem that we are having. So this one control resistor is 2.6 ohms, which is shockingly high. And then this one here is a 1.9. It should be about a 1.8. I found a 1.8 to about 1.6, anywhere between 2 and a 1.6 ohm, but they got to be exactly the same. This one here, obviously I think he popped these two transistors in the back, and he did due diligence, he replaced this, but we were off just by a smidge. I do believe this is the stock resistor, and I don't know why the resistance is so high on it, because it is marked as a 1.8 ohm resistor. I don't know. But I'm not seeing a lot of heating back here. Boy, this input and output coax has sure been hit a lot with a soldering iron. It's okay, we're not judging, I understand. The workmanship that's in here is better than most CB shops I see today. 0.8. And this resistor is a Oh, it might be time to replace my little clippy dabs. 1.8. Okay. So these are matched. That means our bias will be the same amount of current being applied to each input transformer now. That should settle out if there was any imbalance. I mean, a half an ohm amongst friends is still, well, half an ohm. So, okay, I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. God, maybe I'm getting older than I think. Just had a cat call me and talk to me about a Palomar 350Z, and I'm like, a Palomar what? So I go and I Google it. And you'll never guess who's got a couple YouTube videos on a Palomar 350Z. As soon as I seen the videos, I was like, oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about now. I'm losing my mind. So I understand why all your cold solder joints or all your joints are so cold and you're having such a hard time soldering. Bud, I think you might be using, I want you to check your solder that you have. And I think that you're using plumber's solder. It's got a really bitter smell to it and a really kind of bitter taste. And it's taken quite a bit of heat to get it to break down and flow. And I just played hell getting all the power wires out of here. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to add some 60-40 solder to this, reflow all the joints, so I can get the right lead-tin ratio on all the connections. But that explains why some of your joints are kind of globbed on there, kind of looks like a little bit of chicken poo, and I think it has something to do with the solder that you're using on that side of the street. So I know he's going to watch this video. That's the only reason I'm saying anything. So this is really clumpy and it's running together. So I'm having to dilute this with 60-40. There we go. And then, of course, that means I'm going to have to wash the inside of this thing because I don't want to have that acid eating the traces, and I don't want to have the acid eating up the wires that are attached to everything. So, okay, let's get some 316 coax out. Yeah. Okay, so we got some shingle shield 316 coax. We're going to come back about inch or so, and we're going to strip the jacket off. Come around to the other end, and we'll take about inch or so, and we're going to take the jacket off. And the same thing on this one. Come back about an inch or so, take the jacket off. And on this one, we'll come back about an inch or so, take the jacket off. Now, how this works, so we fold it over. Okay, manual. I'll fold this over. I take my screwdriver and I go through the jacket very lightly, press and fold, press and fold, press and fold, press and fold. What I'm doing is I'm folding all the little hairs out of the way to expose the inner dielectric. See that? So we got a little eyelet going on. Every ham radio operator from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s will know exactly what I'm doing here, because this is the same procedure that they try to teach you in the ARRL hand manual. On how to pre-tin and prepare your coax for a downsizer. See that? That's how we get our little pigtail. So here, I'll do that again. Just take and lightly fold this over. Just separate the braid. Separate our braid. Separate our braid. Now I like to push on it. And then I'm putting a little up pressure with my thumb. Help keep that eye open. Now we got a little flyer, no big deal. And I just take and I twist all the leads together. And that's how I do my coax pigtails. And there's a lot of different ways. We could solder this and then cleave it off tight and then wrap a piece of wire around it and then run that down. That's another way to do it. This is the easiest way that I've found to get this done. So fold. Lightly separate. Some guys will use a dental pick for this trick. Here we go. Over the river and through the woods. How's that go with the little chant that we teach all of our kids how to tie bunny ears in their shoelaces? Around, down, over, under, around, about, and back around, or something like that. Then the rabbit goes through its hole. Yeah. Okay. Put a little bit of heat shrink on this to make it look pretty, and we'll throw these in the amp. So we replaced the coaxes here, and yeah, we did some other stuff too. I went ahead and I tightened up this coax connector. It was pretty loose, and if you notice, the board looks radically different now. I went ahead and I spent some time with the solder sucker, and I sucked all that old solder out of here, off the board, and then added actual real flux to this area and cooked it in, and washed the entire amplifier and got all the old flux out of it. Went in and changed out the power wires, put a grommet on everything. Then we also put a body plug in the key port in the top to seal the box up all the way. Went back and hit every joint that I thought needed to be covered. We went ahead and put new balancing resistors in over here for our load resistor, which is going to be down here, and the other one's down underneath this board. They're both matched. Just cleaned it up a little bit, just brought it that little extra step farther forward. Went ahead and added new ground wires. Brought a new ground wire in from the outside, cleaned up this whole area, pulled all the solder out of here, and then reflowed it, and then actually added 6020. Went ahead and cleaned your relay contacts with the file to make sure that those are perfect, and that's it. It doesn't look half bad. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The little heat shrink booties that we put on the coax, That's the secret sauce to really making this box transmit. That, the little tiny pieces of heat shrink will actually allow us to pick up about 3.5 kilowatts, if you didn't know. And yes, that's sarcasm. Sarcasm. Those are simply there to make things look nice and neat and pretty. These little booties, which are just simple pieces of heat shrink, but it just adds a little extra touch to it that makes it look a little bit more classy. Okay, I got my lead strip back. We're going to hook it up. We're going to give it a test run. We'll see how it runs out now. Just erase this mistake from the inside of the cabinet. No big deal. It's all cigarette stain. It's like paint. Maybe this thermal joint compound. So, last couple things we did here is I trimmed out your input SWR just a little bit better than what is stock. Translation, I changed out a cap, and this is just one of those ones that's going to run really well. I mean, you weren't lying when you said it does great output. Just a thin layer of clear, because the inside of these tins I found have a tendency to rust pretty easy. So we'll shoot that down with just a little bit of clear, and that'll keep it from ever rusting on you, brother. Okay. I even polished the rims on the Pimp My Ride mobile here. I don't know if you guys remember that show with Exhibit from the 80s, or 90s, I mean. Pimp My Ride. This thing wasn't that bad, though. Okay, let's go run through this from top to bottom. So, let's go over here. So we've got our 1000 watt slug here in PEP. 1000 watt slug in average bird, whatever. 5 watt slug in reverse back from the 10,000 watt dummy load. Hello, audio, 1, 2. Hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. Our pass-through SWR, otherwise our ability to talk through the amplifier with it off. That's a 5 watt slug in reverse right here. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's down on the basement floor, all the way down. So, I'm sorry if RF gets in the mic. Nothing I can do about it. Right, turn the amplifier on. I went ahead and upgraded the preamp transistor to the one that's got a 20 dB down noise floor to it, so when you turn the preamp on, you'll hear less static and more of the actual signal that you're looking for. Variable all the way open. Hello. Hello. About 700 watts. 650-ish, somewhere 700, which is exactly what this thing is supposed to do. Yeah, we're on 14.5 volts. So it's running really good. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. No problems. Let's go to sideband. Turn our variable power all the way up. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hold on a second, gentlemen. Okay. So all the way down on low, with both attenuators in play, the dial watt and the delay. On sideband, hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, 85 amps. Take dial watt out, so now it's going to be full tilt. Hello, audio. Hello, audio, hello, 1, 2. Not too bad. Back to AM. Oh, I got my dead key too high. Come here. Turn that back down again. Hello. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, come in. Hello. That's a low input SWR. I don't care who you are. So my friend, I got to tell you, if you got parts that get hot in here, especially these, you have an SWR issue that you're not aware of, you're not seeing, or something. Because I have not seen the heating issue. I've seen just a slight imbalance, and what it was our input bias. The voltage on the bias is off by just a couple hundred mils, and that's enough to throw the circuit out of whack. So we've got that balanced back out, but I'm not seeing anything get hot. I went ahead and I reworked the things that I thought that needed to be reworked, and that's that. I'm going to let the tin dry, and I'm going to give you a call on the phone, and we're going to chat about this. Now guys, listen to me. We're all in this hobby together, okay? We all got to be in this hobby together. So when the older guys ask you for help, you younger dudes, it is your job. Nigh, it is your responsibility and your main purpose in this world to step up when you can and help them. I don't care if it's a simple thing like putting on a coax connector. I don't care if it's just going over and making sure everything's clean and hooked up and checking their SWRs because they can't see the meter. It doesn't matter. Because you can only pray and beg and plead to God that when you get to be this old and you're trying to still be in the hobby, which is amazing to me that this guy's in the hobby still, that you get to be treated the same. Gentlemen, I'm going to go take off and go do another thing. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I've got a bunch of stuff I've got to do. I just wanted to get this out of the way today. So Mr. Glenn with the N, spelled with 2 N's, your amp's on its way back to you today. And my friend, Mr. B, I hope you have fun with your 667. It is the best that I can make it. The only thing left that I have to do that I didn't do to this thing that I would normally do is put a fan on it. But I don't think you're too interested in that. So, and it might get one added if you tell me on the phone you want it. On that note, guys, I'm going to run. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And please subscribe. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.